You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
If our guests can do it, I'd like to continue on till about 20 after with them taking phone calls. I'll ask them right here on air. I forgot to do it during the break. Joe Hagman and Doug Hagman of Hagman and Hagman.com. Popular internet talk show that millions now listen to in the aggregate every week. I mean, if we had like 5 million listeners 10 years ago, and it's 18 million a week now, and these guys had a few 100,000 a few years ago, now they have millions. How will the system deal with that? Well, with regulations, hate speech laws, you name it. Go ahead.
No, you know what, Alex? Interesting point. Everyone is looking for that kill switch to the internet. It's better now. In fact, our source this morning, one of the sources this morning from D.C., telecommunications specialist said, you know, they're doubling down on the management of the information. They found that they can manage us better by through different means, as opposed to just shutting down the internet or recreating. Well,
yeah, they had the czar come out, who's a known, fixer, and just told the controlled media shut up and say there's no Ebola, and then just disappear people. So instead of just shutting the web down, they just flood it with disinfo.
Exactly.
Absolutely. They're trying to, as I'm reading one of their own documents, using positive and negative reinforcements, whether laws or incentives, to change the perceptions and norms of people to affect behaviors and outcomes for the way they seek to reinforce and to change society.
Basic psychology being used, psych warfare against us. Ramon in Florida, thanks for holding.
What's going on, brother and gentlemen? It's been a while since we've spoken, but the question you were asking earlier is what's going to be the top story of 2015, and in my opinion, it's going to be that some libertarian grassroots candidate is going to come kick the butt out of every other Democratic and Republican, operative that the system is going to throw at us, because since 2007, there's been a growth in the underground and people that's been understanding what's going on and what we need to do to affect change. So I believe that's going to be the biggest story. I
agree, and that's why they want to start racial division in the country by hyping it up, hoping that people don't come together for liberty.
Absolutely, man. Me and my boy Crip Ferran Paul have been traveling up and down the East Coast to different libertarian-minded events and freedom events, man. And everywhere we go, in every city, everywhere we've gone, people all feel the same way. They feel the change, and they know something's coming, man.
Very interesting points. God bless you, Ramon. Anything else?
Nah, other than the fact that you guys, the Hagmans, all you guys have been doing great work. You know what I'm saying? We're out here supporting you and doing our thing. We got our own show now, the Revolutionary Cuss Show. We're trying to bring, people from the ghettos of America into this movement, because they need somebody to look up to and somebody to show them that it's not just white America or people with, middle incomes, middle class incomes that need to be a part of this movement. Everybody needs to be a part of it.
Well, that's right. We need Hispanic leaders that speak Spanish to reach out as well, because everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to know how the game is rigged. Everybody wants the rest of the story, and it's there. All these people trying to get careers in media through the dying dinosaur. I'm telling you, folks, if you don't get involved in the COINTELPRO cognitive infiltration, infighting, you'll be successful. If you go out, start a blog, start an online radio show, focus, get guests on, because you care about freedom. And when the feds come and attack you through some proxy, if you don't turn around and start fighting with them and you're a Fed, no, I'm not, and do your whole show about that, no one wants to hear you do a show about how you're not a Fed or how you don't work for the CIA or you're not Bill Hicks. That's a diversion White House admitted to get you fighting with each other. Just keep covering issues, get talking to other people, and that will bring the system down. Do you guys agree, Hagmans, it's key to never be involved in infighting?
Absolutely, Alex, and thank you for saying that. Yeah, there's an unprecedented level of character assassinations, attempted marginalization out there right
Stay there. We're going to cover when we come back. For folks that don't know, the White House regulations wrote 3 papers, Chicago Business School, Harvard, and the White House, how they do this on the web. And let me tell you, they're doing it. The only time I mention it is so people understand the game. You try to go out and start a blog or something, talk about freedom, they're going to come accuse you of something horrible to get you to freak out and respond to it or quit. That means you're having an effect. Just ignore them, double what you're doing.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.
Aging starts at the cellular level. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries. During that period, key patented compounds have focused on mitochondrial growth, nerve growth, and rejuvenation. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. We now have the synergistic solution, DNA Force, just one of the key compounds. BioPQQ is backed by major clinical studies and over 175 PubMed-listed published studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
Our governments have been taken over by scientific institutions, mega corporations owned by foreign banks that control the issuance of currency. They've taken over the planet by fraud and graft and insider dealings, not by innovation. The only thing they've innovated is being dishonorable and creating systems of mental manipulation and illegally engaging in psyops, which they've now legalized in once wealthy, virtuous nations. And so these crooks could run things and do horrible things. They've successfully dumbed down a lot of the public. The problem is you haven't dumbed down a large quadrant, and we are not going to be fed into the wood chipper head first. Sorry, not happening. President Obama, I don't know why I said Friday. President Obama to make the announcement on immigration tomorrow. It's already been made in January, legalizing all the illegals that are here, letting the parents come in with the kids. They're set to announce they're going to give basically the equivalent of political asylum to any child in the world. And Homeland Security is saying it's going to cause a giant influx. Prepare. They'll get here and basically get signed on to welfare and be wards of the state. This is how you checkmate a public that's waking up. I mean, a basic psyop is to say all Hispanics want open borders because Latin America's south of us. There are polls out where 65% or more of American Hispanics, and not just counting citizens, but just polled, a lot of them who aren't citizens, said no. I mean, they're running from the third world. We will turn into the third world, as Ross Perot said, if this continues. It's already happening. And then it's political checkmate because we're just a third world country. And that's what this political elite want to do. They really want to conquer gun owners. They really want to conquer the churches. They really want to conquer and really have their way. We're the enemy to the fascistic, mentally ill left and the Republican cohorts at the top. Hagman and Hagman, I want to race through calls. Kevin in Canada, and Chris and Carl and Sledgehammer and Joseph, and get quick comments on what they think the big event is in 2015 coming up. But I think this amnesty has already happened and is the big event. He may even water it down tomorrow in what he says he's doing, because he's already done it by ordering the Border Patrol to ship the illegals in and complete the smuggling process. I mean, I don't see what else he could do. They're already giving him free welfare. He'll probably lie and say we're not giving him. I mean, I expect a whitewash tomorrow to pacify what he's already done. That's how PSYOPs works. What do you think, Doug?
Well, Alex, last night, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, all of the programming on MSNBC, painful to watch, but nonetheless, basically just confirmed everything you said. This, yeah, it's being laid out. There's nothing new under the sun. It's going to be, Alex, it's going to be a balkanization of this country through executive fiat. And by the way, with the imprimatur of the GOP Republican Party, this political paradigm is no longer functional.
That's right, just completely out of control. Joe, you've got a take on this?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and this will speak to the lack of how politics or whether Republicans or Democrats will fix the situation. When we'll see Obama use an executive order such as the amnesty program, and when you'll see the House and the Senate not take any action to repeal it and just let it go. This is knowing that they're just, Obama's a figurehead. He's a puppet for the masters, a timepiece, if you will. He just reads what is written for him to read on the prompters, and he signs into laws, the laws that are written for him.
And one more thing, just watch the arguments the arguments in favor of amnesty will be, it was done in 1986. It was done prior to that. So it is with precedent. That's the argument.
And by the way, Congress had already passed accompanying laws, and then Reagan simply directed agencies to comply with it. And that's what George Herbert Walker Bush, the numbers were much lower, and these weren't people with felony records. And did it make people end up voting Republican? No, it didn't, because the Republicans weren't handing out as much welfare. It doesn't work. And then you'll just have this immigrant group coming in, being enslaved by the next immigrant group they bring in. I mean, this is treason with a capital T. I want to go to calls, but the break cut you off. We were getting into Cass Sunstein, the White House regulations are 6 years ago, well, 8 years ago at Chicago Business School and 8 years ago at Harvard, but 6 years ago for the White House, codified it on how to go on the internet, how to spam racial division. It'll be the same robot spam as a white supremacist or as a black guy, calling each other names to get that going. They admit that's happening. They call them spam bots. They call them megaphones. They call them... the point is that's all going on. They'll also then attack your show, attack mine, trying to get us to respond to the character assassination, to make our show about that, so the millions of listeners tune in and tune out going, I don't want to hear about you all day. I'm only warning other shows how to not be destroyed, because I want competition. I want more people out there. I want an awakening. I want to be made obsolete. I mean, it's dangerous being as big as I am and, you know, tip of the spear here. I'm excited about all the success you and so many others are having. And so I know you've gone through that. But what's frustrating is we have the manuals. We know how they do it. I mean, do you see politicians responding to us when we attack them? No. Well, see, we shouldn't respond to fake, frivolous garbage or care. Now, when MSNBC says I'm behind the Boston bombings and deeply racist, I point out that they're bankrupt and a joke. But not because I'm even hurt by it. It just shows how they're whistling past the graveyard there. But brief comments on that, and we're going to calls.
Your comments on infighting are spot on. You know, we see it not only in the alternative media, but also as Christians inside the church. You know, this is what is distracting and taking up most of the time is people worried about fighting with each other and being right rather than coming together under the simple idea of freedom or the simple idea of whatever.